welcome to Cooking with Nymble. I'm Ananya from Nymble, and today I'm going to be demonstrating a recipe on Nymble the cooking robot. At Nymble, we're building cooking robots to help people eat delicious, nutritious food in the comfort of their own home. Today, we're going to be cooking Broccoli Alfredo, which is actually a very popular variation of the penne Alfredo, just with broccolis added into it for extra taste and nutrition. Before we dive in, let me give you a quick version of how Nymble cooks. You select your recipe, and as soon as it opens up, there are clear instructions on how to prep the ingredients. You put the ingredients into these containers, and these containers slot in right here. Then you fill up your oil and water, and once those are done, you put your spices in the form of pods right into this drawer here. Here we have the pan, which has the stirrer attached, which helps move the food around, and this sits atop the induction cooktop, which acts as the heat source. Once you've set things up, just press cook. The ingredients will fall into the pan at the right time and temperature and do the cooking for you. It's basically magic. So now that we know how the recipe setup works, let's delve into how Nymble actually cooks. So Nymble uses a type of artificial intelligence called computer vision. See this camera right here? It sits right atop the pan and looks into the dish just like you and I would. Just like a human chef would look for visual cues in the recipe, Nymble's camera looks for cues such as texture, color, and the doneness of the recipe to make a judgment and move on to the next step. For example, Nymble can see when the onions are browning, and therefore it can make a decision as to move on to the next step or not. So stay tuned to the end of this video to see how the Broccoli Alfredo turns out, and also for a very special deal. So today we're going to be cooking 2 servings of Broccoli Alfredo. You can actually download the Nymble app on your phone as well, and that's what I'm going to be using today to go over the instructions and prep my ingredients. As you can see, I have already prepared all of my ingredients, and the prep work took me all in all 10 minutes. So let's start filling up our containers. In container A, we have our penne pasta. In container B, we have our whole dairy milk. Container C contains the broccoli and the unsalted butter. And we put the remaining broccoli in container D. Slot the containers into the respective arms. I've already filled up my oil and water, so I'm just going to push the drawer in. Now I'm going to load my spices into their designated slots before proceeding. Now as you can see, this is a freely moving carousel, so you can adjust it to load in your spice pods. Now I will put my salt in 1, my black pepper powder in 2, my all-purpose flour in 3, dried herb mix in 4, and the Parmesan cheese in 5. Now I'm going to fit the spatula on the stirrer like so, and the stirrer goes on the pan just like this. And we place it on the induction cooktop, and don't forget to connect the magnetic connector. Now Nymble runs a series of checks to make sure everything is in order, so you can safely step away while Nymble starts its cooking. Now let's hit cook and watch the magic unfold. If you notice, there's a moment of stillness after the biscuits. This is because Nymble's camera is actively looking into the pan, identifying the ingredients and making the judgments before moving on to the next step of the recipe. Now dishes like Broccoli Alfredo are usually cooked separately, with the pasta being boiled and then mixed into the sauce. But at Nymble, we have re-engineered this recipe to be a one-pot recipe, where the pasta cooks within the sauce. Now as you can see, the image that the camera takes every 5 to 10 seconds is also transferred to the app on your device and the app on your phone. So you can safely step away from Nymble while also being able to keep an eye on the recipe at any point. Our recipe is finally done cooking. Here's also a pro tip to sprinkle the pasta with freshly grated Parmesan, and you can also rate the recipe out of 5. And oh, I've also gotten a notification on my companion app saying that my food is done, and I'm going to rate this recipe a 5 out of 5. The pasta looks great visually. I can't wait to taste it. Oh, it smells delicious. I really like how the flavor of the broccoli has blended with the pasta and the sauce. I usually like my pasta sauce richer, but if you like a thinner consistency, you can actually customize it to your preferences. If you're wondering about the cleanup, it's super simple. Everything that comes into contact with food on Nymble is dishwasher friendly, and the device itself can be wiped down with a kitchen towel. Check the description box for a detailed video on cleaning. If you're curious to know how the food tastes, we have real-life in-person demonstrations in the Bay Area in California. If you're not in the area, we have virtual demonstrations of the device cooking where you can ask your burning questions live. And thanks for sticking with me till the end. And as promised, there's a sweet little surprise for you. Use the code FLAVOR50 for 50% off the pre-order fee. Thank you so much for joining me today and see you soon.